thought you guys would have left. Going it? Hey, buddy. Be ready. I want to congratulate Georgia Tech, Josh. I thought they had an excellent game plan, switching the defenses and at sometimes creating indecision on our young guys. I thought that they made the big shots when the game was on the line, and I thought that we had same looks on the other end and just didn't go in. And, you know, when you in the ACC, you know, every possession of every game is important. And I thought they played with a little bit more desperation, and I thought that they showed a little bit more maturity, and it gave them opportunity to be successful. As far as our team is concerned, obviously this has been an extremely challenging year for a lot of reasons. I think I've grown. I think I've learned a lot during this process. Sometimes as a coach, you get a system going and you feel good about it, and because you have a certain level of success in executing your plan, and then you have some unexpected bumps in the road that you're not prepared for. And you can either make excuses and acknowledge and don't want to acknowledge them, or you can learn from them and make sure you never let it happen again, and that's the mindset that we are right now. Been a long time since we've been in this position in the ACC Tournament. As painful as it is, we're going to use this to move forward, and you don't have to worry about this being in this position again. Any questions?
Coach, you spoke about the adversity of this season, but we also saw you defeat Miami, the #1 team that came into the ACC tournament, did that on the road. What positives, including that Hurricanes game, do you build off of as you get set for next year?
Well, we have we have some really good pieces. I think we have a good foundation, you know, to move forward. We just need to make sure we add the right ingredients to this team. And we've never been this young before. I looked up many times today, and sometimes we have 3 and 4 freshmen, first-year players on the floor at the same time. And we've always, as a coaching staff, we've taken it for granted, those juniors and seniors that we've always had in our program, setting the tone for our first and second-year players. And you grow accustomed to your system, and be honest with you, sometimes you don't realize how valuable that is to have those guys who have been in your program and they've grown and developed and learned the system, and in the apartments and the dinner table, and when they're hanging out playing video games, they're keeping imparting that wisdom to the less experienced guys, and we've been void of that. And I've learned one thing. I've learned how this year it is so valuable to have matured, experienced people around that can fill that gap. We haven't always had what you call 5-star players, but we need to be successful with 10, 11 guys about the same, executing your game plan and giving a tremendous effort for the whole game. We were a little void of that this year, and we have a great value on the importance of that moving forward.
Coach Hamilton, Patrick Conroe, Ramblin' Sports. I noticed that y'all played Georgia Tech 2 months ago to the day. In January, beat them at home by 7 or 8 points. And interesting, in the box score, it was your team with a shorter rotation. I think you played 8 players that night. They played 9. Today, of course, they do 5 and a little bit of a throw-in, and I think you had 10 or 11 guys that saw minutes, and most of them significant. I wonder if that was a part of the plan coming in to wear them down with the height and with the numbers.
Well, we didn't have the opportunity to wear anybody down tonight. We had 2 guys got injured in the first half. Not to say anything about the guys, 2 ACLs we got already on the bench. But that's college basketball. And I look back and I see we went 50% from the free throw line. Down the stretch there was 6 points that we left on the table that, excuse me, I thought would have kind of kept them at bay and allowed us to make a few mistakes. But when you're missing those free throws, and I think we missed front end of a 1-and-1, I think we had 2 shot fouls and we missed both of them, whatever the scenario was. But you got to have enough experience where you're calm and you're a little more relaxed, and you've been to that situation over and over and over, and you sit there and you knock them down. So I told our players, you can look back at a lot. Statistics can make you think that we can do anything. But in reality, it's those little things that you didn't quite accomplish the entire year. We had about 4 perimeter shots they made when I didn't think we properly contested. There was a couple of switches that we thought we had down pat that allowed them to get a uncontested shot at the basket. There was a couple of offensive putbacks they got that where nobody blocked out. So you go back and evaluate the game. Most experienced players don't allow those little things to happen. Inexperienced players, they have not been in that situation enough where they learn from the repetition of doing it over and over and over. And that's been kind of who we are this year. Sometimes we are capable of going and doing what we did at Miami. We didn't tell them anything at halftime that we didn't tell them before the game. But they executed what we had told them at the beginning of the game in the second half, and we were able to accomplish something. But that's part of growing up, that's part of coaching, that's part of being a player, that's part of developing your chemistry and your culture.
Questions for Matthew as well?
Yeah, Matthew, just going off of that this season, just what your takeaways have been and what those positives are that you focus in on from the message from Leonard Hamilton, if there's anything that kind of marinates with you at this point.
Just some positives are we're a really talented team, and we have our days where we're really good and our days where we're inconsistent. So it's just been like an uphill battle, but we see when the positives are when we're really locked in, we could play with anybody. So that's my takeaways from this year.
Any other questions? Any questions on Zoom?
One more, almost a follow-up, Coach Hamilton. Were you surprised at all to see Javon Franklin line up as the postman for Georgia Tech? He was the tallest guy they had on the floor to start the game.
Well, it's obvious that they've been playing with him for quite a while, and they've been fairly successful with him playing in that position. So, Josh is a good coach. I think people sometimes take for granted the process that it goes in establishing a winning program. They don't get to be that way overnight, and it's equally as challenging sometimes to build it overnight. Now, there's no doubt that with the portal now, where you have about 2,000 guys putting their name in the portal, you probably could fill that gap and get some experienced guys who maybe might be graduating and want to change for whatever the reasons are. But I think we're all now in a different phase of college athletics, where we've always built our program from within and development. And I played against Pittsburgh, for instance. They had a very down year. last year, and now they're playing for the championship with 5 transfers in the lineup. And I congratulate them for having the foresight, you know, to figure out how to utilize the new system that we are dealing with now. And so from our standpoint, we've been very successful building from within, but now that changes a little bit. We gotta step up and take advantage of the new opportunities we have available to fill in some parts to complement what Matt says is a pretty talented team. Now we need to fill in with a little bit more experience. Maybe guys who've been lifting weights for 3 or 4 years and have closed out and contested, a little stronger, a little more experienced. It's a new day, and I think we just got to be committed to evaluating and making sure that we don't make any mistakes in our evaluation.
You've worked on this program for many years and building success, and like you said, this was an atypical year as far as where Florida State was coming into the ACC tournament. Just what you could say about building that program over time, and I know it's a new world with NIL and transfer portal, but how you've seen this Florida State program truly develop into something that can be sustained success.
Well, I'd say this is a bump in the road. This is not a volcano eruption. You know, I got great staff, tremendous administration. I thought our fans were there with us this year like no other. I mean, I was just so pleased and impressed with the support that we got from the community, even though we were having a down year. I think our fans stuck with us. I think we have made some progress, but in order for us to maintain and beyond the level that the standards that we have had over the years, we're going to have to do things a little differently. And you have no idea how I feel every day I get up, because I feel like the buck starts with me. You know, we got to be prepared for injuries. We got to be prepared for youngsters exercising their right to make decisions, to move on with their careers. Even though it might not be the wisest thing to do, you got to respect that. And I think sometimes as coaches, you know, we think about what's best for them and what's best for us, but sometimes we don't have the right to dictate, and we only can inform and have conversation with kids to help them navigate through the challenges that they have. And I think that's one thing I could do a better job of, is having direct communication and helping guys have the right information. But what I think maybe is logical for our program and for us personally as a staff and as a school might not be what other individuals think that are important. So now you get caught with decisions being made that are unexpected, then you throw in a couple of injuries, then you got some inexperience, this can happen to you. But I think moving forward, we will be working hard to prepare for the unexpected, and so that we don't ever get caught, you know, in a situation like this. You got to prepare differently, and but I think we know exactly how we need to fix this. We got to be on it, and as far as I'm concerned, next season starts today, and that's where we'll be placing all our emphasis as we move through this process.
Okay, thank you. We're good.